Genesis chapter 16. Abram's wife Sarai had not been able to bear children, but she had an Egyptian servant named Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "Look, the Lord has kept me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant. Maybe I can have a family through her." And Abram agreed with Sarai's suggestion. After Abram had been living in Canaan for 10 years, Sarai took her Egyptian servant Hagar and gave her to Abram to be his wife. Abram slept with Hagar, and she conceived. When she realized she was pregnant, she began to look down on Sarai. Then Sarai said to Abram, "You are responsible for this wrong. I gave my servant to you, and now that she's pregnant, she treats me with contempt. May the Lord judge between you and me." Abram replied, "She's your servant. Do whatever you think is best." So Sarai began to mistreat Hagar, and Hagar ran away. The angel of the Lord found Hagar beside a spring of water in the wilderness, along the road to Shur. He said, "Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going?" She replied, "I'm running away from my mistress Sarai." The angel of the Lord told her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." Then he added, "I will greatly increase your descendants so much that they will be too many to count." And the angel of the Lord said to her, "You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard your misery. He will be a wild man, like a wild donkey. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand against him, and he will live in hostility toward all his brothers." Hagar gave the Lord who spoke to her this name. "You are the God who sees me." For she said, "Have I really seen the one who sees me?" That's why the well there was called Bir Lahai-roi, which means well of the living one who sees me. It is located between Kadesh and Bered. So Hagar gave Abram a son, and Abram named him Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar gave birth to Ishmael. Genesis chapter 17. When Abram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am God Almighty. Walk before me faithfully and live blamelessly. I will make a covenant with you and greatly increase your numbers." Then Abram fell face down, and God continued speaking to him. "This is my covenant with you. You will be the father of many nations. No longer will your name be Abram. Your name will be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. I will make you exceedingly fruitful. Nations will come from you, and kings will descend from you. I will establish my covenant with you and with your descendants after you throughout their generations. It will be an everlasting covenant, to be your God and the God of your descendants. And I will give to you and your descendants the whole land of Canaan, where you now reside as a foreigner. It will be their everlasting possession, and I will be their God." Then God said to Abraham, "You must keep this covenant, you and your descendants after you for all generations. This is the covenant you are to keep. Every male among you must be circumcised. You are to undergo circumcision, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and you. For generations to come, every male among you who is 8 days old must be circumcised, whether born in your household or bought with money from a foreigner. Both those born in your house and those bought with money must be circumcised. My covenant in your flesh is to be an everlasting covenant. Any uncircumcised male who has not been circumcised will be cut off from his people. He has broken my covenant." God also said to Abraham, "As for your wife Sarai, do not call her Sarai anymore. Her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and give you a son by her. Yes, I will bless her so that she becomes the mother of nations. Kings of peoples will come from her." Then Abraham fell face down and laughed. He said to himself, "Can a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? Can Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? And Abraham said to God, "If only Ishmael might live under your blessing." But God replied, "No, your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him, an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful and greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year." When God had finished speaking with Abraham, he went up from him. Then Abraham took his son Ishmael and all the males in his household, those born in his house and those bought with money, and he circumcised them that very day, just as God had told him. Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised, and his son Ishmael was 13. Both Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised on that same day, and every male in his household, whether born there or bought from a foreigner, was circumcised with him. Genesis chapter 18. One day, the Lord appeared to Abraham near the great trees of Mamre while he was sitting at the entrance of his tent during the heat of the day. As he looked up, he saw 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he ran from the entrance of his tent to greet them, bowed low to the ground, and said, "My Lord, if I have found favor in your eyes, please do not pass your servant by. Let a little water be brought, so you can wash your feet and rest under this tree. Let me get you something to eat to refresh you, and then you may continue on your way, now that you have come to your servant." They replied, "Very well, do as you say." So Abraham hurried into the tent to Sarah and said, "Quick, get 3 seahs of fine flour, knead it, and bake some bread." Then Abraham ran to the herd, chose a tender, choice calf, and gave it to a servant who prepared it quickly. He then brought curds, milk, and the calf that had been prepared, and set these before them. While they ate, he stood near them under the tree. They asked him, "Where is your wife, Sarah?" "There, in the tent," he replied. Then one of them said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son." Now Sarah was listening at the entrance to the tent, which was behind it. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah had long since passed the age of childbearing. So she laughed to herself and thought, "After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Will I really have a child now that I am old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was afraid, so she denied it and said, "I did not laugh." But he said, "Yes, you did laugh." Then the men got up from there and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham walked along with them to see them off. And the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham what I am about to do? Abraham will surely become a great and powerful nation, and all nations on earth will be blessed through him. For I have chosen him, so that he will instruct his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just, so that the Lord will bring about for Abraham what he has promised him." Then the Lord said, "The outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very serious. I will go down and see whether they have done all that I've heard in the outcry that has reached me. If not, I will know." The men turned away and went toward Sodom, but Abraham remained standing before the Lord. Then Abraham came near and said, "Will you sweep away the righteous with the wicked? What if there are 50 righteous people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not spare the place for the sake of the 50 righteous people in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing, to kill the righteous with the wicked, treating the righteous and the wicked alike. Far be it from you. Will not the judge of all the earth do what is right?" The Lord said, "If I find 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom, I will spare the whole place for their sake." Then Abraham spoke up again, "Now that I've been so bold as to speak to the Lord, though I am nothing but dust and ashes, what if the number of the righteous is 5 less than 50? Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5 people?" He said, "If I find 45 there, I will not destroy it." Once again he spoke to him, "What if only 40 are found there?" He said, "For the sake of 40, I will not do it." Then he said, "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak. What if only 30 can be found there?" He answered, "I will not do it if I find 30 there." Abraham said, "Now that I have been so bold as to speak to the Lord, what if only 20 are found there?" He said, "For the sake of 20, I will not destroy it." Then he said, "May the Lord not be angry, but let me speak just once more. What if only 10 can be found there?" He answered, "For the sake of 10, I will not destroy it." When the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham, he left, and Abraham returned home. Genesis chapter 19. That evening, 2 angels arrived at Sodom, and Lot was sitting at the city gate. When he saw them, he stood up to greet them, bowed down with his face to the ground, and said, "My lords, please come to your servant's house. Spend the night and wash your feet, and in the morning you can go on your way." But they replied, "No, we will stay the night in the town square." Lot insisted strongly, and at last they agreed and went with him into his house. He prepared a meal for them, baking bread without yeast, and they ate. Before they went to bed, the men of Sodom, both young and old, from every part of the city, surrounded Lot's house. They called out to him, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out so we can have our way with them." Lot went outside to meet them, shutting the door behind him, and said, "Please, my brothers, don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have 2 daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do what you want with them. But don't harm these men, for they are under the protection of my roof." But the mob shouted, "Get out of our way." And they said, "This fellow came here as a foreigner, and now he wants to judge us. We'll treat you worse than them." And they lunged forward, trying to break down the door. But the angels reached out and pulled Lot back inside, shutting the door behind him. Then they struck the men outside with blindness, young and old, so that they gave up trying to find the door. The angels asked Lot, "Do you have anyone else here, sons-in-law, sons or daughters, or anyone else in the city who belongs to you? Get them out of here, because we are going to destroy this place." The outcry to the Lord against its people is so great that he has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were pledged to marry his daughters. He said, "Hurry and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. At dawn, the angels urged Lot, "Hurry, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, or you will be swept away when the city is punished." But Lot hesitated, so the angels took hold of his hand, his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters and led them safely out of the city, because the Lord was merciful to them. As soon as they had brought them out, one of them said, "Run for your life. Don't look back, and don't stop anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, or you will be destroyed." But Lot said to them, "No, my lord, please. You have shown great kindness to your servant by sparing my life. But I cannot flee to the mountains. Disaster may overtake me, and I will die. Look, there is a town nearby. It's small. Let me flee there. Isn't it a little place? Then my life will be spared." The angel said to him, "Very well, I grant you this request. I will not overthrow the town you speak of, but flee there quickly, because I cannot do anything until you reach it." That is why the town was called Zor. By the time Lot reached Zor, the sun had risen over the land. Then the Lord rained down burning sulfur from the heavens on Sodom and Gomorrah. He destroyed the cities, the entire plain, all those living in the cities, and even the vegetation in the land. But Lot's wife looked back, and she became a pillar of salt. Early the next morning, Abraham went back to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and he saw dense smoke rising from the land, like smoke from a furnace. So when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham and brought Lot out of the catastrophe that overthrew the cities where Lot had lived. Afterward, Lot left Zor because he was afraid to stay there. He and his 2 daughters settled in a cave in the mountains. One day, The older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there is no man around here to marry us, as is the custom everywhere. Let's get our father to drink wine and then sleep with him so that we can preserve our family line through him." That night, they got their father drunk with wine, and the older daughter went in and lay with him. He was unaware of when she lay down or got up. The next day, the older daughter said to the younger, "Last night I slept with my father. Let's get him drunk again tonight, and you go in and lie with him so we can preserve our family line." So they got their father drunk again that night, and the younger daughter went in and lay with him. Again, he was unaware of it. So both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter had a son and named him Moab. He became the ancestor of the Moabites, who exist to this day. The younger daughter also had a son, and she named him Ben-Ammi. He became the ancestor of the Ammonites of today. Genesis chapter 20. Abraham moved south to the region between Kadesh and Shur and settled for a time in the land of Gerar. While there, Abraham once again said of his wife Sarah, "She is my sister." So Abimelech, the king of Gerar, sent for Sarah and took her. But that night, God came to Abimelech in a dream and said, "You are as good as dead because of the woman you have taken. She is a married woman." Now Abimelech had not gone near her. So he said, "Lord, will you destroy an innocent nation? Didn't he himself tell me, 'She is my sister'? And didn't she also say, 'He is my brother'? I have done this with a clear conscience and clean hands." Then God said to him in the dream, "Yes, I know you did this with a pure heart, and that's why I kept you from sinning against me. That's why I didn't let you touch her. Now return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not return her, you can be sure that you and all who belong to you will die." Early the next morning, Abimelech summoned all his officials and told them everything that had happened. They were terrified. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said, "What have you done to us? How have I wronged you that you have brought such guilt upon me and my kingdom? You have done things to me that should never be done." And Abimelech asked Abraham, "What were you thinking when you did this?" Abraham replied, "I said to myself, there is surely no fear of God in this place, and they will kill me because of my wife. Besides, she really is my sister, the daughter of my father though not of my mother, and she became my wife. And when God had me wander from my father's household, I said to her, 'This is how you can show your love to me. Everywhere we go, say of me, he is my brother.' Then Abimelech took sheep and cattle and male and female servants and gave them to Abraham, and he returned Sarah his wife to him. And Abimelech said, 'My land is before you. Live wherever you like.' To Sarah he said, 'I am giving your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. This is to cover the offense against you before all who are with you. You are completely vindicated.' Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his female slaves so they could have children again. For the Lord had completely closed all the wombs in Abimelech's household because of Abraham's wife Sarah. This was the story from Genesis chapters 16 to 20. In the next video, we will explore the events of chapters 21 to 25, including the miraculous birth of Isaac, God's testing of Abraham, and more. Don't forget to watch the next part. Have a happy life listening to Holy Bible.